Welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be drawing the floating heart. So for this drawing you will need a ruler, a blue Sharpie, a red Sharpie, a B pencil, charcoal pencil, fine liner, Sharpie, normal pencil, rubber, fine rubber, and a smudge stick. So let's get to it. We're going to take our A4 piece of paper and we're going to fold it over and make it into A5, like so. Now we're going to draw a box inside of our A5 piece of paper. And the size of our box is going to be 11 centimetres across here, the horizontal, and 8 centimetres down the verticals. Now in the right hand top corner, we're going to draw our heart. So first of all, I'm drawing a box around the area I want to draw my heart, just to give a reference point so I can get my heart symmetrical. Take your time. Draw the square box roughly the size of that the heart's going to be. Take a central point in the middle, and now we're going to draw the heart around one side and then the other at the top, sweeping round. It's good to do one side and then the other side. If you're not quite happy with something, rub it out and pencil it back in again. That's the beauty of using pencil. I like to do everything in pencil first before we touch the ink. And there we go. Draw a line across from your heart to the side of your box, about there. I'd say about a quarter up from the bottom of the heart. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a little diagonal line from the top right hand corner of our inside box, there, like so. I'm just going to reduce the size of my inner box because I think it's a little bit too long, and I'm going to rub out the excess. Mistakes happen, but that's why we use pencil. There we go. This is the correct 8 centimetres times 11 centimetres. Now we're going to draw a line all the way down, and then we're going to measure in 2 centimetre increments, and they're going to be for our lines, or kind of fake lines we're going to be doing for the paper to make it look like lined paper. So you can measure now gaps of 2 centimetres across and then join them all up so they're nice and parallel with each other, like so. Now draw diagonal lines from the vertical lines at the top, like so. We'll make them slightly smaller at the bottom than they are at the top, because as you can see the lines on the left aren't quite the same diagonal as on the right, so you want them to kind of join up. And then when you've done that, start shading in around the heart at the top. Just gentle shading for this part. Now fill in the little box at the bottom, and this one's going to be slightly darker than the shading that you've just done. So take it down a little bit darker. Now add a little bit more dark contrast to the bottom, and just here, starting at the bottom, working up towards the first bit of shading that you've done, and then I'm going to go over the bottom bit And there's a little bit to the right here which is going to also be darker. So I'm colouring that in with my B. Don't want to touch the charcoal yet, but that will ultimately be darker later on. We've got to draw a little shadow of the heart. So draw another little box around the bottom area on the left, just a guide box like we did with the bigger heart. And then inside of that little box, we're going to try and copy the same shape heart we drew earlier. So take your time again and draw the heart round. And again, we're going to touch that up with charcoal later. So it's very faint at the moment, but I just daren't touch the charcoal yet because I make such a mess. So there we go, got my heart shape, and then I'm going to just colour it in. Can't hardly see it at the moment, but we will see it later on. Just to get it roughly how we want it. There we go. And I'm just rubbing out the little box I've drawn around it because obviously I don't want that to show. It was just a reference box. And then I'm just going to colour it in with the B pencil so it doesn't really show. Now get your Sharpie and go over the lines that we've drawn in pencil, like so. Don't forget to do your hearts. And then draw in the diagonal lines as well. And take your time with this and nice and slowly draw them in. Try not to have a Sharpie bleed as you touch the points at the top and the bottom. I did manage to have Sharpie bleeds, but there you go, it doesn't matter too much. It's all trial and error. Just very carefully go through, drawing in your diagonals that are going to give perspective later on when we look at it at a certain angle. In fact, you can see that coming on right now, just from the angle we've got with the camera. So again, do take your time with this, and hopefully you'll get a really good result. And get your black Sharpie and just highlight around, or low light around the heart. And then I'm getting the charcoal pencil, the dreaded charcoal pencil, and I'm going over our shadow heart at the bottom to make it stand out more. I'm just taking my time with this, but I shall be making a mess in a minute, that will be for sure. So there we go, the heart is in, and we are going to blend that in a minute. Now I'm also colouring in the little block at the bottom, and now we're going to colour in the sides. Use the ruler if you want to try and keep it clean so you don't overlap onto the paper. And there we go. Now get the smudge stick and gently go over your shadow heart to just blend it gently and have a gentler edge to it so it looks more like a shadow. And then we're going to do the same thing with our smudge stick on the right hand side of our box. And I put the ruler across again because I don't want it to bleed through onto the top, but lo and behold it did, and I made a mess everywhere. So here I am rubbing out my mess, so rub out any mess you've got, probably less than I've got, and take your time with that as well. Gosh, that charcoal goes everywhere. So now I'm just adding in some more dark shading to the side here, and I'm using a Sharpie also to add a little bit of extra depth of colour, and then going over the Sharpie with the charcoal pencil to blend it all in together. So let's have a look at the finished result, and there we have it, a floating heart. Thanks for watching, everybody.